If you like to watch people mow down hordes of Darknuts and Moblins without breaking a sweat, then today's your lucky day. Because guess what? We barely killed anything in that last video. So, oh great, the scumbag has a shield, so I'm gonna have trouble. Okay, here we go, that back jump was all I needed. Now, just want to be careful not to draw those other two guys here. Oh, come on, stop jumping back! And by the way, yes, enemies can sometimes pick up the wrong weapons. You just saw this guy pick up that halberd, and it's going to drop a piñata. I'm just going to secure the piñata first in order to make sure not to get attacked by this guy while picking up the loot. And while I do this, I'm just going to blabber on for a bit, so humor me for a second. I picked up the Master Sword in the last video. Now, one thing, whoa, I forgot to pick up that Knight's Crest. Very important, because if you pick them all up, at the end of this, you're going to have 10 Knight's Crests, which is exactly the amount that you need. So, yeah, I picked up the Master Sword, and later on in the game, we're going to be powering it up as part of the plot. Now, I want to dispel an urban legend about this that many people believe, and that has been perpetuated by a certain Let's Player that has 50 times as many subscribers as I do. I think you all know who I'm talking about. This does not increase the damage of your Master Sword. See that double damage I talked about last video? You're stuck with it until the end of the game. Only way to get it up further is with the Elixir Soup. Speaking of that certain Let's Player, another misconception that he helped propagate is the fact that the Elixir Soup's double damage boost does not work on bosses. I remember he used it on Mulgera, and that fight still took quite a while despite the double damage. In fact, I know it takes the same amount of cycles to beat Mulgera with the Elixir Soup and without the Elixir Soup, which means that the damage boost does not work on bosses, only regular enemies. Fortunately, even though we face many regular monsters as mini-bosses, such as Darknuts and Moblins, and later on we're going to encounter Stalfos. These are considered regular enemies, so the Elixir Soup boost will work on them, just not actual bosses such as the Helmarok King or Mulgera, or actually I'm not sure, it might work on Jalhala, since it's comprised of many small foes which are regular enemies, but typically you're going to want to use the Hurricane Spin against that guy. So, and the Hurricane Spin is going to kill these foes in one hit anyway, so it's not going to be particularly helpful. Speaking of the Hurricane Spin, if I'm lucky enough to have 10 Knight's Crests, this is what it's for. I'll be able to learn it pretty soon. In fact, I think I'll be learning it today before I'm done recording, so don't worry about that. I didn't really spoil any important part of the game. So, am I done with this floor, or is there... Oh, there's still a Moblin left. Holy shit! How many of these guys are there? And the fun part is that there's a second floor. Well, it's not a full-fledged floor, it just sort of goes around the perimeter of the whole place. But still, there's a second floor, which means that there are still several Moblins and Darknuts to fight in this place. Yeah, they really want you to make good use of that Master Sword you just got, especially considering the last boss didn't even require the use of your sword. That's something else that's a bit odd about Godon, is the fact that usually Zelda bosses will involve hitting something with your sword. Not Godon, by the way. So, yeah, just a little fun fact I think I might point out, even though you probably noticed in the last video, but not necessarily thought to think about it, and it went overboard, and I'm not sure I killed it, actually, so I might have to go back down there once I'm done clearing this floor. I don't know, it might be dead. I didn't really pay attention to the HP bar. Some of you might say, why am I going to wear the hero's charm if I don't even pay attention to the HP bars? But usually I do watch it rather closely. It's just that I was sort of busy talking or had a brain fart or whatever. So I guess we're almost done. This over here is the last hallway, and we have 2 moblins waiting to be fought. I'm just going to... 3 moblins! Not 2! Holy crap! Oh crap! Now I got 2 of them on my tail at the same time. Whoa! Easy there, buddy! So, let's just take these guys out. And... yeah, okay. One of them is dead. I was about to worry that they would cover each other with intelligent precision. So there go 2 of them, and hey, wait a minute! Why doesn't it have its skull? I'm always about to say skull pendant, but it's skull necklace. Maybe it's it's one of the 2 that I picked up, meaning that I killed one of the other guys that had a skull pendant and skull necklace, sorry, and it didn't drop it for me, which doesn't really matter because I think I probably have the 20 that I need. So now that the electric barrier is down, and whoa, I'm not going the right way. I'm supposed to go all the way over there. I always seem to go the wrong way when I play this. So let's see how many Knight's Crests I have. 10! Just barely made it. I think it's the max that you can have at this point as well, which means that we're going to be able to learn the Hurricane Spin very soon. So now, we're supposed to go back to the Forsaken Fortress. But before that, we are going to take care of a few things, some of which are mandatory, some of which are very helpful, and some of which are just, mere side quests, because God knows you didn't have enough of these before! So let's get cracking, shall we? First, on Square C4, Northern Triangle Island. Remember these cyclones that we saw every now and then? Well, go to this square and there's going to be one of them, and when you get close enough, remember Zephos, that frog that we met on Dragon Roost Island? Well, this is the brother that he asked us to pretty much fight for him. So you're supposed, now that we have the bow, you're supposed to just hit him 3 times. And by the way, there's a huge delay between when you fire the arrow and when it's actually hit, as you can see. And there we go! That was very easy. Of course, it was such a big target that, well, of course I didn't hit it every time, but still, it didn't last long at all. And suddenly he becomes much smaller. No one's ever been able to spot me in there before now. Yeah, no one has ever been able to spot the gigantic frog in the middle of the freaking cyclone. Anyway, just like Zephos, he's going to give us a very cool melody. Down, right, left, up. So let's copy that. Down, right, left, up. And we just learned the Ballad of Gales, which is going to allow us to warp to certain islands of the Great Sea. Now you might be thinking this is just optional convenience, but no. This is mandatory. You will need this song to finish the game. And the game doesn't make it very clear either. I could totally imagine someone getting completely stuck, having no idea that he's supposed to go get the Ballad of Gales and then use it on a specific island, which is what we are about to do. Now, as I said before, we are supposed to go to the Forsaken Fortress, so one might think, well, I'm going to warp to Mother and Child Isles. This is the list of the islands that you can warp to. So yeah, let's go to Mother and Child Isles since it's the closest island to the Forsaken Fortress. This is the thought process that the game expects you to have. Unfortunately, doesn't quite work that way. Why? Just take a look. Instead of warping on the sea, we are now atop the giant island that is Mother Isle, and someone's talking to us. How did you manage to find this place? Well, I guess it would be called a chance encounter, except the game designers clearly intended you to come here like this. Now is not yet the time for us to meet, so yeah, this is basically our cue to go fuck ourselves. We are only going to be able to meet this fairy queen once we have progressed a bit further into the game. There is yet another in this world whom you must protect. Gee, I wonder who it could be! Okay, so yeah. So there's nothing we can do here for the time being, so instead of doing that, let's use the Ballad of Gales again and head back to Outset Island. Because this is where I'm going to be able to learn the hurricane spin, so let's head over there. And now I'm going to show you what it's like to use the Ballad of Gales on an island that actually, you know, works. Not that this didn't work, but it's just that this is the one exception. You're always supposed to be warped near the island instead of on the top of it, except for Mother and Child Isles. So, yeah, the fun thing is that, well, it's not really fun if the wind is blowing, like, to the north or something like that, but the Ballad of Gales leaves you pretty far away from Outset Island whenever you warp here. So, we're about to learn a new sword technique, so, oh, hello, random emulation message, haven't seen you in a while. So, yeah, we are going to talk to the guy who knows the most about sword techniques, obviously, which would be Orca. Now, the last time we met, I cut out a lot of footage, and yes, I did show you that I got the piece of heart, but yeah, you have to show him your 10 Knights Crest. How many of those do you have? So, and I suppose the time has come for me to speak to you about the crests. So we are going to not really learn the origin of the Knight's Crest, but rather what they do. It takes a soul who possesses not only power, but wisdom and courage as well. You know, reference to the Triforce, just in case we've forgotten what game we're playing. And, you mean his brother was interested in a sword technique? He only seems interested in reading books, so I'm really skeptical about what he's saying. But anyway, perhaps you can master it. Well, it's actually pretty easy. So, the way to do the Hurricane Spin, remember in Ocarina of Time when you charge up your spin attack and it increases its power and range? Well, it's sort of the same thing here, except instead of doing that, you're going to be sent wildly whirling around like this. And Link screams like a little girl. And what the game doesn't tell you is that you become dizzy for a while after using this. Well, obviously. So, you're not going to be able to attack for a few seconds after using this. I just love this sound effect. Cry me a river, goddammit! Now, this line here, I'm certain that you'll save your sister and bring her home to Outset. He's going to say the same thing, even after you've already saved her. So, yeah, once again, blatant oversight by the game designers. Surprise! One last thing for today. One of the treasure charts we recovered in the Tower of the Gods leads back here to Pawprint Isle on square B5 between Windfall Island and Dragon Roost Island. And that treasure chart leads to a piece of heart. And I guess I should also mention that I bought a bunch of bait from Beetle, even though I probably won't be needing it. It's just that I'm probably going to be maxing out my wallet soon, so might as well spend some rupees instead of letting so many more of them go to waste than what I would do normally.